It's November 22nd, 2015, and we want to know, is Martian Manhunter burying the pain in cookies for his unrequited love of Aquaman?
The Flash has been shot through Darkseid Heart, but is the Anti-Monitor to blame?
All this and more is coming up now. It's another episode of DCR.
We're giving love a bad name, Sean.
We rescue a world from mysticism and tyranny, and usher in a future brighter than anything we can imagine.
Up in the sky! It's a bird!
It's a plane!
It's
Distress Citizens Radio.
Hey everybody, how's it going? It's just getting worse. It just feels like the intros are getting worse. But I am Sean Lamont, your comic book reader extraordinaire, hosting another episode of the DCR, and I am joined, as always, by my cohort in crime, the Punmeister General, which I really have to find a new title for you, Mr. Brian Glein. Hello, sir.
Hey there, Sean.
You're ruining my life.
How is it going?
You're ruining my life.
Okay, good to know.
But we're also joined by Sunshine, Rainbows, Lollipops. It is the Mount Kilimanjaro, Kelly herself. Hello, Kelly.
Hello.
Things going well in your neck of the woods?
Pretty
Did
much.
you bless the rains down in Africa?
Oh, yes.
Okay, awesome. See, I can do 80s songs too.
Yeah.
I'm on board with this. I think I got a handle on it. What we're going to do is talk about some comic books. So, Kelly, why don't you give them the fair warning?
We're going to spoil things. All
Like what?
The plot beats, storylines, and so on and so forth stuff in the books that came out sometime, I'm thinking in October.
Yeah, it's like the last week of October, the second to last week. We're literally 1 month behind right now from when this is. So we actually got a bunch of people that were very happy about that. Little unknown thing. Actually, we get a double hit on all of our episodes right when it releases and then a month out right before the next issues hit, where people use our show as, I guess, a refresher or maybe a sampler to see if maybe something new is coming out and they might want to check it out. So, yeah, it's a
You've told me that before, but it always surprises me.
Yeah, we get a double bounce on each episode because of that. It's very weird, very odd. Speaking of double bounces, though, people downloading the show and listening to it, we hit 500,000 downloads this week.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's a
500,000.
lot.
500,000. And again, I am well aware that a picture of a walrus holding a basketball has 13 million likes overnight, and this has been like 2 years, but still, I'm very happy with that. So
We're coming for you, Serial.
We're coming for you. Watch your back. But yeah, I just want to say thanks to
Get
everyone.
sound beds going. We'll be on par with them.
I think we have to pause after every sentence too, just to let the ambient sound play in the background, build that suspense.
Dunk, 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 dunk,
And that's when I told him
dunk, dunk, dunk,
that we had to do this. Well, hell yeah. Shit, why are we doing
there we go.
this?
Yeah, #1 podcast.
We could be rich right now.
But
God.
then it also would take forever to record.
Well, no, we just record normally. I would take forever editing is the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We just
You
talk
remember when
normally
we?
and then I
Yeah,
edit it
you
all.
remember when we had all those sound effects and stuff, and you're just like, "Oh my god, it's killing me, Brian. No more."
Hey, can you put a drop in of this specific bird that's from South Asia, and I need it in its mating season in the fall, if you could, because it has a very particular.
I'm not going to
cry,
provide
Sean.
it for you. You're going to have to find it on your own.
Thanks, Brian. But you guys have been forewarned. So what are we going to do? How are we going to go into this week's books?
We're going to pirouette.
Okay, well, let us pirouette. I shall put my hands daintily above my head and leap into this week's books. Bring in the big guns.
Or I'm eating this pirouette, the pastry filled with chocolate.
No, you don't eat pirouettes.
Oh, okay, my mistake.
And you don't put your hands over your head when you're pirouetting either.
No, I was transitioning from the over my head to the pirouette. So,
Oh, okay.
yes, I'm
He did
graceful.
actually make the graceful
I
motion.
did. I made the graceful jump. So.
All right. Oh, I'm starting off with Justice League 45.
That's the big guns.
Hey, remember the other week when you're just like, hey, Brian, you know that thing that I've always been asking for?
The Robbins book?
I wanted the Robbins book. Yeah, funny enough, I've been saying, hey, Francis Manpaul, could you maybe draw a Justice League comic so I could see you draw everybody? And hey, look at this. He's drawing Justice League now.
Wishes come true. This is truly the season. Mm-hmm. Truly the season.
It's only going to be in like 2 issues or so, but I'll take what I can get.
Fair enough.
Yeah. All right. Darkseid is dead. Darkseid
less threatening.
Darkseid is dead. Yeah. So
he got better.
No, he did not. He's just sitting there with his head caved in, and Kirby dots are pouring out of it.
Does he have his tongue lolled out at least, or he's just like
Does he have X's for eyes?
Couldn't tell. No, he didn't have X's for eyes. Oh, if only. If only. So the last issue, the Anti-Monitor turned the Flash into the Black Racer and shot him through Darkseid's heart. So this basically creates a celestial power vacuum. So because the old new gods are dying, the new gods have to rise to take their place.
Yep. And since we have some overpowered people just right there at the scene of the crime, maybe they could be picking up some of this stuff. Pick up the slack.
Maybe. So Wonder Woman and Mr. Miracle, already gods, are there, and they're a little worried about what this might mean. And the Flash, being a person who has been haunted by death before, what with his dad and all, or well, his mom and his dad dealing with it, is actually excited that he can now control death. And it's like, loosen my collar. So the Flash is the new god of death. He gets a cool Guy Ritchie title card and everything to let us know. It's like, Flash, god of death. So, meanwhile, on Apokolips, Superman has been charged by the fire pits there to become Nega Superman. He's all polarized.
Yes, he's gray and white and no color, no happiness.
Yep. And so he's the new god of strength. God of strength. Thank you. So he's super angry and just isn't even going to pretend to put up with Lex Luthor anymore. He rips up his power armor and says, never come back to Earth, and goes, flies off.
Yeah, leaving him on Apokolips.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good luck there, Lexi.
Yeah, so Lex wanders Apokolips by himself when he runs into Ardora, the leader of the Forgotten People.
Is she an explorer?
No, she's not. But I love how he's just like, am I supposed to be impressed? Like, you totally would be if people wouldn't stop forgetting about us. It's like, well, I mean, that's kind of your whole thing. I mean, you gave yourself the name. Silence! So, she's Ardora, not Adora, Ardora, says, you know what, our prophet has foretold of the day that Darkseid would die, that a new hero from Earth would walk Apokolips after this happened. He would be from the land of Metropolis. He has saved his planet time and again, a humble orphan farm boy, faster than a speeding bullet, able to leap tall buildings with a single bound.
That's very specific.
The living embodiment of truth and justice. Are you that man? And Lex just kind of looks right at the camera and goes, yeah, that's a ticket. Yeah. So, Batman and Green Lantern, they're off in the antimatter universe while this is going on, and Batman is now crowned the new god of knowledge. Yeah, thanks to his Mobius chair. Hal Jordan tries to point out that the real Batman would be super skeptical about all of this, but he uses his phenomenal cosmic powers to send an exterminator to Oa and lift up the floorboards. It's like, ooh, Hal, looks like your friends have got some parademons over there on Oa.
Man.
So it looks like you're going to have to go and put a tarp over Mogo and smoke them out. And then he's just like, oh my gosh. And then as Hal Jordan's going to fix the parademon prime, Batman's just like, whoop, 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 whoop.
This is all because of Gotham's tarp sales that he's like, just throw a tarp over Mogo. It won't cost you much.
These Wayne Tech tarps. Or was that Lex Luthor who had the tarps?
It was Lex
Luthor. He's still coming out on top, even on Apokolips. So, back on Earth, Flash starts to get a little conflicted about Death taking him over, so he's going to try to outrun Death
himself.
And I know I own at least 5 Flash issues that ask if he can do that on the cover, and he usually figures it out, but you know.
Well, I mean, not in the New 52.
That's true.
He could be slower. He could trip. He could be very clumsy.
Maybe. Well, if he's being played by Hilary Duff, I would assume he'd be tripping over everything into garbage cans. Right in front of boys? Man, I tell you. So,
It's a very specific casting call right there.
Yeah. So they're all standing around when a bunch of voices start talking to Shazam, and he becomes the god of gods. Extra lightning, extra lightning. And he gets summoned to New Genesis or something. We don't know. We'll find out.
Will we now?
It's like,
he's getting his own one-shot about it.
I don't know. God of gods?
Sounds good. And then all of Darkseid's cronies show up, like Calabac and the Furies and stuff, and it's like, hey, we're going to beat you guys up now. It's like, all you people who don't get your own one-shots from coming out of Darkseid War, it's like, uh-oh, guess we're stuck fighting you guys.
Oh, man. I guess we're kept busy.
Yeah, I'm not a god of gods.
So wait a minute, the only person that didn't become a god, no, two people are Cyborg and Green Lantern?
At the moment, I think Green Lantern does get his own one-shot, though, but Cyborg does not.
Okay.
And Wonder Woman, I guess she's already the god of war.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
And Mr. Miracle's
sorry.
And Mr. Miracle's like the god of Las Vegas or whatever. So.
Yeah, god of Penn and Teller.
Yes. He's a little sidekick. Actually, he does have a little tiny sidekick, doesn't he? That doesn't talk a lot.
Doesn't talk.
All right, and then everyone thinks that the Anti-Monitor has just disappeared, but Grail and her mother and their pet Griffin, Death Griffin, are like off on a skyscraper somewhere. You know, like just like Aquaman always does, standing off on skyscrapers. Yeah. They are watching, and they know that the Anti-Monitor is like hiding he's like turning back into Mobius, his original form, while encased in a secret shadow cocoon.
I think it's all the anti-life energy is leaving him now, where he gets to actually just be mortal again. Instead of
something like that. But I'm sure his regular form is not going to be much better than the Anti-Monitor.
Well, it's probably going to be, I'm going to say, Shirley Temple.
Okay.
Yes, that's where she went.
Curls and all, huh?
Yep, curls and all. And the little shadow crack thing will open up, and he'll be like, animal crackers in my soup.
His death ship, the good ship Lollipop.
Yes. Full circle.
Full circle indeed.
Oh, man.
So, back on Apocalypse, Lex Luthor wakes up to find himself strapped to a big Jack Kirby machine. He's all, what's going on? Well, with Darkseid dead, his Omega effect will return to Apocalypse. We will contain it inside of you. If you are who you say you are, it will have no effect whatsoever and nothing bad will happen. So then all of a sudden, Omega Beam. And he gets all Omega beamed up and his forehead gets all craggy and Lex Luthor is the new god of Apocalypse. Yeah. That took a turn.
Little bit. So now, I know we had the whole Injustice Gods Among Us, kind of taking it a little far here. Really good though. Nice turn.
Yeah, I was not expecting this to be happening. I mean, we already had Batman turning into, going all God mode and everything, but I don't think I was expecting
everyone else to get in on the play.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose there's like a little bit of me where I'm just like, this reminds me of when everyone got their favorite fruit flavor of Green Lantern ring to a certain extent, but it is kind of like an interesting take on the whole like pop culture and superheroes are kind of taking the place of religion that's been discussed by all sorts of philosophy majors and eye-rolling think pieces on the internet and stuff like that.
9 reasons that 90 kids will know that pop culture figures are more important than gods. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or if you want to see a funnier take on it, just go see Book of Mormon. That does the same basic thing.
That one's pretty good too.
Yeah. But it's a lot deep. It's a lot deeper than the whole action. Look, Batman now has Tron lines that some people might just be getting on the surface.
Sure.
So there's a lot more to it. It's pretty cool. I don't know. People looking to fictional characters for spiritual enlightenment seems kind of fishy. I don't think it'll catch on.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I do have to say the art's been fantastic with Manapul on this one, and then Fabok even leading up to this one.
Yeah, Fabok with all of his cool new redesigns. And like, oh, gee, you want to bring Francis Manapul on to draw stuff? I'll never complain about that.
He's another one in that same school of art, though, that is hyper detailed in all of his backgrounds, where I'm just like, dude, why do you do this to yourself? It looks amazing. Thank you.
Did you ever see that like video I posted once of him like drawing like he drew like a fully like made page in like a half hour or something, and it's just like beautiful. And he's like busting out like paintbrushes and toothbrushes and like making like little spatter effects and everything like live as it's happening. It's like
God of ink.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you are just making all of us look bad, Francis. Stop it right now.
No, it's definitely your big tent pole style story though. So I'm happy to see they're pulling in some of their big artists and letting them have some fun with this, because it really is. It has to be like just a field day for them. Just be like, yeah, hey, make them all gods, mix and mash them up, throw some themes on them, just run wild, man. Throw a laser luge in there if you want. I don't care. Do what you want. But I have a book myself because I figured gods. We just haven't talked enough about gods today. I think we need some more. So I have Wonder Woman number 45. Where we had left off, the quote unquote demigod Aegeus had attacked Wonder Woman because he wants to become the god of war. Everyone else got cool god powers. Now, the last issue of Justice League, where's my cool god powers? I'm going to be god of war. So he's going to try to kill her, and he gets sent to Mount Olympus to attack both Wonder Woman as well as Strife, our bestest friend ever in the whole wide world. Wonder Woman tries to reason, tries to be all nice and like, no, I know you had a rough childhood and it's not your fault. It's not your fault. And he's still about to kill her. When Strife grows really, really big and is just like, I'm not really as patient as her, so I'm just going to eat you unless you tell me who sent you. And Wonder Woman's like, I thought you sent him. No, I didn't send him. I told you that. I was pretty sure you had sent him. And, as he's about to spill the beans, he's like, no, don't eat me. It was. And then poof, he gets teleported away. Where did he go? Well, he went to talk to his benefactor, who he is now cowering from because whoever this super powerful person is, she is threatening to kill him. Oh, you can't even kill the god of war. This new god of war has been nothing but a thorn in my side ever since the old one left. I told him not to hang out with her, blah, blah, blah. Maybe one more time, I'll give you one more chance to kill her. And if you can't do it, I'm just going to kill you myself and go after Wonder Woman. But in the mortal realm, over in Normalville, Donna Troy is getting the nickel tour of London from Violet, the homeless, I don't want to say prostitute. I don't think she is. I know she has a pimp.
It's London. She's a lovable street urchin, right?
Yes, she's a lovable street urchin. We will say that. And they're going around and they're fast becoming friends, where she's apparently the most well-versed in history street urchin in all of London. And is just going around, oh, yes, we used to put heads on bikes here, and it was lovely. And, instead, they end up parting ways because she goes, okay, well, I'm going to head for home. Donna Troy, you cool? You okay? Awesome. I'll catch you later. I hope we cross paths yet again. And she goes,
over there, it's Michael Caine. Oh, hello.
No. Back in your box.
He had to do it.
So as Violet leaves, she accidentally leaves her bag behind, so Donna Troy goes to return it back to her home, only to find that the pimp that was threatening her before when they first met, the big thug by the name of Link, is there beating her up, taking out his frustrations on her because Donna Troy beat him up last time. And as Donna Troy comes in to fight him, he shoves Violet off to the side, who ends up falling and cracking her head on the table and dies instantly on the floor. Yay, happiness. Donna Troy really having a bad week? Life? Yeah, bad life.
Consider yourself.
So she ends up going to try to kill Link. And as she's about to do so, that's when Wonder Woman kind of busts in the door and goes, no, Donna Troy, you're better than this. You shouldn't do this. I knew you're not evil at heart. I thought you put this whole killing men behind you. You have to stop. And as she's sitting there, Donna Troy's like, no, if I would have killed this guy the last time I met him, my friend would still be alive. You know what? The fault is actually yours, Wonder Woman. If I stop trying to impress you and live by your code and live by my own, my friend would still be alive. So they go, ha-ya, hoo-ha, ha-ya, and fight each other, and it kind of busts out into the street itself. And as they're fighting, all of a sudden, Donna Troy gets shot by an arrow and turns to stone. And Wonder Woman's like, what the hell?
Who's to blame for this one?
No! And she looks behind to see Aegeus standing there, or Aegis, or however you pronounce it. Yeah, it's either way. He's standing there and he's like, there, I helped you, Wonder Woman. She's like, no, you killed my friend. And he's going, no, I was just trying to help you. Why would you help me? You've been trying to kill me for the last 6 issues. He goes, yeah, about that. I was working for some lady and she is bonkers. And I was kind of hoping if I helped you out here, you could help me get out from underneath her thumb. And Wonder Woman goes, well, who is it? I mean, is it Strife? Is it Strife? Tell me it's Strife. And that's when they are interrupted by his benefactor, who shows up, and she goes, no, it's me. It is Irene, goddess of peace. Sup? I'm trying to kill you because you killed my friend God of War, old God of War. Meh. Meh.
Wait, so she's the god of peace, but she wants to kill her.
Because I guess it's hard to have a God of War that preaches peace and be a God of peace. I would assume that's the direction we're going. Yeah. We're just like, hey, you're stealing my gig, yo. God of War. Let me actually show you what that means. This is your actual job duties, not God of Peace. That's my job duties. So I'm assuming that's the direction we're going, and big turns, lots of gods. There was actually a really nice scene though with Strife, where Strife is like, hey, watch your back. I don't want to have to deal with another newbie God of War if you get yourself killed. And one of them was like, I love you too, Strife. And they both just kind of look at each other and then they go their way. I was like, yeah, that's about how that relationship would work.
So glad Strife is still Strife.
I know. Still good. Still enjoy it. I like what they're doing with the stuff. It's, I was kind of hoping we wouldn't get a reversion with Donna Troy. So I'm hoping that patches itself up here pretty soon, moving up down the line. So moving on.
All right, moving on to Superman Wonder Woman number 22. So, Mo gods indeed. Mo better gods? Well, I'll leave that up to you. Superman stormed off to after being betrayed by Lois Lane and Wonder Woman last issue. So Steel is going to clean up the mess that was left behind from the big tussle, and Lois, Diana, and Lois Lane are going to go after him. Lois is just catty as all get out, and tells Lana that she can just stay here with her boyfriend and cover things in liquid metal. Ooh. But Lana Lang is unchained, cold cocks Lois Lane, and just throws down. Am I the only person here that Clark didn't say he never wanted to see again? Are both of you mental? And while they're all like Wonder Woman calmly teleports off to the Justice League satellite to follow Superman, and Lana and Lois is like, oh, well, we can't do that.
Yeah. Mm. Well, we do have an electrical engineer there.
We do.
I'm thinking maybe, just maybe, she can whip something together real quick.
Mayhaps. So we then finally get to the preview story about Superman trying to fly off into the sun with a JLA spaceship to get his powers back. But Wonder Woman stops him, and we get the now famous, I don't love you anymore.
Dun, dun, dun.
But the book is called Superman Wonder Woman. Well, yeah, just because I don't love you doesn't mean we can't still, team up. It's like, wait, is that innuendo? Or is it just, oh, for the love of God, will you just help me break Parasite out of prison? Sure, we could do that. So they break Parasite out of prison. It's fun. It looks like Clark's got a plan.
That's a interesting premise for a book, where it's just going to be their awkward relationship after breaking up and working together.
Yes.
That's why you don't, yeah.
Yeah.
You don't poop where you eat.
Yes, well.
There were either, actually, really.
Well, yes. Yeah.
Any configuration of that sentence whatsoever, you don't do it.
Yeah, you don't do it.
You don't poop where you work. You don't work where you poop. You don't eat where you work. You don't eat where you poop. Just making sure we all understand.
Yes.
None of these things should occur. None of them. So next up, I have Bizarro number 5. See how I'm transitioning? We went from gods to God of War with Wonder Woman to Superman Wonder Woman to Superman-esque Bizarro. It's a flow.
Upside down Superman.
It's my feng shui of comics.
Yes.
Where Bizarro, Jimmy Olsen, Colin the Chupacabra, and Chastity Hex, great granddaughter of Jonah Hex, find themselves locked up in Area 51 after they were hired by Argus to break in. And it didn't quite go as planned. They end up getting locked up in there as well. Where it turns out, after they have a meeting with Kilowog's cousin Pollywog,
yes,
who is, yes, it's exactly what you think. He's in there lifting weights and trying to be the tough guy, calling everybody a poozer. And it actually turns out it actually turns out Colin the Chupacabra is the most feared alien in there. He's not just an Earthling. I guess Chupacabras are from space. And they are scary, scary individuals. So he agrees to take them to go see the big monk, the guy that's in charge of this whole prison. And it turns out to be a chipmunk? A space chipmunk?
Probably like Chip from Green
I would assume
Lantern,
so as well. Or Badge. Or Bj. So yeah, he ends up coming in, and it turns out that there was actually a plan set up for them to infiltrate the place and then have a fake fight with Big Monk, who then breaks the suppressor collar that Bizarro is wearing, and they have a giant fight throughout all of the Area 51 against General Sam Lane and his troops. And we do get some awesome stuff, i.e. Jimmy Olsen straps on some Thanagarian Hawkman wings and flies around with a mace bonking people on the head.
Scree!
Scree indeed. And more importantly, Chastity Hex ends up throwing on an Adam Strange jetpack and laser pistols and flies around, giving us almost everything we want except a robot horse.
Yes. Yep.
So close.
So close.
So close.
And Raphael Albuquerque drew that page too. Yep. So close.
So close. They end up actually fighting their way out and free all of the aliens from inside, and they end up escaping. Colin ends up going with some other aliens to go back home. Chastity decides she's going to take her Adam Strange jetpack and laser pistols up into space to be a space bounty hunter. Where's my mini?
Yeah.
Where's my mini? That's all I'm saying. And meanwhile, it turns out that it seems the Bizarro Jimmy Bro ship is coming to an end because Bizarro picked up the call from from Jimmy's editor, who was saying, hey, quit faking your Bizarro's friend and get the story done so that we can get your book to publishing. And Bizarro is all sad that Jimmy Olsen is not his bestest friend, worstest friend, friend, and has been faking this whole time. But Jimmy's like, no, I wasn't faking. Maybe at the beginning, but not now. We're bestest friends or worstest, whatever I'm supposed to tell you.
They'd be worstest enemies.
What, bestest enemies? I don't know. I don't know. It's so confusing.
And Bizarro, in fact, not all that?
No, Bizarro. No, you are, in fact, not all that. Yeah.
Does everyone remember that dance that Usher taught us?
But yeah, that was Bizarro number 5. Cute. Kind of, for the kids, but it has all of its little stuff that we like as well. So
yeah,
it is your quintessential all ages, really.
Now, well, speaking of things for all ages, let's move on to Teen Titans number 12.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so, this Teen Titans reboot has started off pretty strong, but it kind of lost its way a little bit. Just throwing characters at each other with no real endgame approaching. You know what this book needs? A detailed look at the origins of Superboy and all of the previous series of characters shouting their feelings at each other and recapping their backstory.
Anger!
So it's Once Upon a Time.
Funny you should mention that, because that is exactly my note on my next note in here. Yeah,
I'm assuming Once Upon a Time jumped the shark a little bit, or
basically they yell each other's feelings at each other because they have to make it so dumbed down for people because they just can't understand what's going on the screen.
Yeah. Shame I fell off on that one in season 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so Red Robin Tim Drake, Con-El Superboy, Silent Armor Wonder Girl, and Bartor Flash are all talking at each other about how they feel. Like it's just like they're LARPing an episode of Once Upon a Time, says in my notes. Just pointing that out. It's like, I tried to start a revolution in the future and got imprisoned in the past. I stole art from museums, like all teenagers do. I'm extremely creepy and watch all of you with secret cameras all the time. I'm Superboy, and even I'm not sure what the hell my origin is, but I'm super angsty because of it.
And are they going to shoehorn in another character just because it's popular, in there? Because, that would also be very Once Upon a Time.
Well, I don't know, Sean. How popular is Harvest?
Oh, really popular.
Okay, because it turns out Harvest shows up and he goes, Mwahaha, I was behind all of this all along.
Wait, he was erased from existence. Like, they changed the timeline, and when they did that, Harvest was erased.
He's like, nope, it was me in charge of this prison breakout that we were involved with last issue, and all those other characters that do not show up in this issue at all. I'm behind all of that. Manchester Black? Sure, I'm behind that.
Wait,
are we going
Manchester works for Harvest?
No, actually, Manchester or any of the other Elite or any of the new members of the Teen Titans, not mentioned at all in this booklet.
Okay.
I had to go and read reviews of this book just to make sure I didn't accidentally download something from the last series.
Ouch. That's a little rough, dude.
I didn't know what was happening.
That is a weird swerve, though, to turn it all back to the old stuff.
So again,
so quickly.
like an episode of Once Upon a Time.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Like where
Guest writer, or was it?
It was Will Pfeiffer with Scott Lobdell.
Weird.
I know, right?
Weird. I know Lobdell loves his Harvest stuff and the Superboy all over the place because he was pushing that one pretty hard while he was writing it, but...
Yeah, Harvest is like, hey, I'm from the future. I hate metahumans, and all of you Titans are going to be my army to destroy them with your teen angst, I guess. Mwahaha. I'm just
Teen Titans.
Go? I don't know. I was very confused.
Well, that sucks.
I was getting confused I was kind of getting confused with the pace of the series coming up to this, but now I'm very confused.
Sure. Well, what if I said you had an alternative? You need that Teen Titans fix, but you're not really feeling what's happening in Teen Titans.
Okay.
What if I said Teen Titans Hunt? I don't know what that means either.
I don't know what that means.
I think if we take pictures of them,
do
like
the Teen
Pikachu?
Titans start chanting and turn into like a horrible Glomulus monster or something?
No, I don't think so. We do have
Clarion's in the other book. That's what
we have a ongoing
Wasn't
mini.
this one of the Convergence minis?
Yes,
or
I believe this is one of the
Convergence series.
minis. So, where we're dealing with all of the quote-unquote old Teen Titans, like the Teen Titans that most people remember, your Dick Graysons, your Aqualad, and Red Arrow, or Speedy, I guess, and like the classic original OG Titans that everyone was like, man, that got erased due to the New 52. None of these people got to hang out. But did it really? Did it really not happen? Because that's what we're kind of covering in this book, where all of the people...
Is this being written by the Grinder? But what if it didn't?
What if it didn't? No, in this one, it's like all of the old members of the team, like Roy Harper sees a T-shaped water tower, and he's just like, there's a memory in my head of something like this, and I don't know what.
Very architecturally unsound.
Why would someone build something like this?
Yeah.
I don't know. That seems horribly planned. People like Raven and Guardian are also doing it, and Raven's like staring off into the San Francisco Bay like, I just feel like there should be a building here or something.
There should always be a pigeon in front of it for some reason.
Yes, for some odd reason. And Guardian, of course, is also just like, I don't think I was on that team. But all of these people are having...
Well, if it's the one Guardian from like the cartoon show, he was actually he was the guy. He was the dude with the magic trumpet. Oddly enough, I don't think they want to bring Magic Trumpet version of him back into...
Probably not.
On Young Justice, it's like, hey, Magic Trumpet guy, why don't you be the Guardian? That's better.
There you go.
Yeah.
But no, it's a bunch of these characters, and they're all remembering it, and they don't know why. But we kind of focus in on Dick Grayson. Of importance, Roy Harper falls off the wagon on this one. He ends up drinking because he's trying to remember what it is, and it's driving him insane, and he can't, and so he starts drinking again. I'm like, no, Roy!
Get Killer Croc in there.
Killer Croc back on the line. But Dick Grayson is working a spiral op to stop a metahuman organ traffickers, and it's interrupted by Garth, Aqua Boy, the Atlantean not kid of Arthur. Not kid of Aquaman, but Aqua Boy, just another guy.
He was just his kid sidekick for a while.
Okay, fair enough. I'm just making sure. I was asking the question.
Back when everyone had child sidekicks and no one said anything about it.
Fair enough. But he's in there, and the organs they're trafficking happen to be Atlantean lungs, and he just kind of comes in and kills everyone. And even Dick Grayson's like, no, you horrible person, why would you do that? But Garth ends up escaping, and Dick is going, why do I feel like I know that guy from somewhere? And as he heads back to wind down from this operation, he's contacted by the voice of Lilith? Lilith? Maybe? No? She sees,
not ringing any bells.
She sees a bunch of kids on a twister mat.
Okay.
So it's like a bunch of dots of different colors, and that seems to strike her memory of some sort. So I don't know if that's a tell for you. No?
No,
okay,
not.
Whatever.
She is not ringing any bells for me.
She's a telepath, and she's actually reaching out to Dick Grayson and saying, you have to remember them all, and you must find them all because he's hunting them, he's watching them, and he's coming for all of you. And then she goes back to her office, where it turns out she is actually a addiction counselor, and she gets a call from Roy Harper going, hey, I fell off the wagon. You wouldn't happen to have a 7-foot crocodile monster there, would you? I need some help getting sober once again.
And I guess a 7-foot crocodile monster would make you sober.
It might drive me to drink more, honestly. Because there's not much I'm going to be able to do against a 7-foot crocodile monster. I'm just going to go, I've accepted my fate now. I read nature books. I know where I am on the pecking order here. I'm not going to walk away from this one.
According to Wikipedia, Lilith Clay is a young superheroine who occasionally appears in Teen Titans titles.
Okay. Does she just occasionally throw a fair where a bunch of people show up and sing songs and
well, maybe she could use her limited telepathy and to get everyone to sing along with her.
Maybe.
And her limited teleportation to bring them to said fair.
Hey, that would be very convenient. Honestly, if people threw fairs that they could teleport me to, I would attend so many more of those.
That is true.
If they could actually just teleport me home as well, because that might be awkward if I'm in, like, on Apocalypse somewhere for Lex Fest or something.
Okay, her notable alias is Omen. So,
okay,
that rings 0 bells with me.
There you go.
The fact that she's listed as Lilith
Cave
Clay.
Boy?
Yeah, that's another one. I'm not.
Yeah, it was in her filing cabinet of all the Titans that she's trying to contact, and one of them was Cave Boy, and I was like, Cave Boy? Are you sure this isn't the Legion file folder here? Maybe you got those mixed up a little bit.
I mean, there was that one cartoon where, like, the weird, like, pixie version of Cole had, like, a big Neanderthal sidekick, maybe on the old Teen Titans cartoon.
Okay.
Maybe that's who it is?
Maybe. I don't know. That's outside of my realm of knowledge, I will happily admit, so... It's
the same shame it couldn't be Captain Caveman, but you know.
It's something that people have clamored for. People have asked for this because of Convergence and the way they went back and redid the timeline. They can go back and do something like this because even the New 52 timeline isn't holy anymore because it could be edited by Convergence now.
By Brainiac and Telos messing around with things.
Exactly. And forgot to back it up on his hard drive, and then it took over another Best Buy, and all these things keep happening.
Yes.
Just want to remember, guys. I will say, sneak peek, we find out his name next month. I'm just saying.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Who's his name?
Telos.
Thought his name is Telos.
No, that was his slave name given to him by Brainiac.
When he turned him into a planet?
Yeah, sure.
You know, comics.
Move on. What do you got next?
I got Black Canary number 5.
Okay.
So, Black Canary
I used up all my weedle-wees, though, so don't go too rock on me.
So, Black Canary is back on the road and trying to, they're trying to do things without label money because it turns out that there's obviously something fishy about the whole thing. Like, why was the band formed? Why is an ex-government agent superhero the lead singer, and there's like an alien child on lead guitar. This is weird, right? Because in the DC universe, even the record labels are secret acronym-based government organizations.
EMI? No.
But yeah, so we get even more clarification on the timeline of Dee Dee leaving Ashes on Sunday from Batgirl, getting signed by the label, being put into the band for just one album and one tour for a crap load of money. Being allowed to name the band herself. Oh, she's just not creative. That makes perfect sense.
Okay.
Yeah. And everything is wrapped up in a neat little package. Let us continue. And there was also a great scene of one of their concerts, and at the end of it, Dee Dee is telling the crowd how much she loves her band. They're like a family to her. The family she never really had. Like a real family, while just staring off stage at her amnesiac ex-husband with the same like dead-eyed stare that Kenny Loggins gave Michael McDonald when he said he was going to give up smooth music and make rockin' 80s movie theme songs. Okay. You know? It was just that kind of dead-eyed stare.
Meeting, that turning point in history.
Yes. Yeah. So while they're camping out before the next gig at the band's hometown, in the middle of the night, the white ninja lady that looks exactly like Dee Dee sneaks into her tent, injects her with a syringe, and just kind of crouching tigers away as Dinah just kind of ineptly chases after her like, wait, why did you do that, person that looks exactly like me, ninja lady? And then trips
like a canary in white?
Yes.
Who are you?
Who are you? But then, you know,
is she the person who gives sandwiches?
Yeah. Yeah, that was our sandwich person, wasn't it? That we all needed a white canary because she kept popping in and doing things for them.
Yes, exactly. Yes. At the record store signing the next day, we meet Lord Byron's adorable family. When the store gets attacked by a Warriors-style gathering of other bands that Black Canary has wronged, their concert tonight has been turned into a battle of the bands. And when the concert starts up, there's an extra secret band, Bo M, headed up by Bo Maeve. I guess they are the Misfits and their songs are better, you know?
We are crashing the boys.
Yeah. Well, we do that every issue. I didn't want to do it this time. So yeah, her band of a bonfire, harpy, and anti-gravity, A-U-N-T-I-E, gravity, are bringing down the house, at first figuratively, until the last note of the song when Bo unleashes her own canary cry and literally brings the house down.
Well, that doesn't seem safe.
No, not at all.
Does she at least provide adequate ear protection for everyone in the audience?
No.
Or protection so that,
she's a super villain.
Super villain.
Yeah, because, I mean, she would have crushed everybody.
Well, she just lets out her canary cry.
Well, wait,
and,
were they
like,
at a fair? Was it just a tent?
No, it was
Like
in
a tent?
it was in a building.
Okay.
Not like we're crashing the boys hang out.
Okay. Fair enough. Well, that's out of control.
Yes.
That's out of control.
It should be noted, however, that anti-gravity has a corncob pipe.
Okay.
And a button
Kinda
nose.
selling me a little bit more on that one.
Maybe come, Christmas time, maybe. But right now, she just looks like a lady Popeye, and I think that's kind of fun.
How about two eyes made out of coal?
I don't know. We don't know what her superpowers are yet. I'm assuming they're gravity-based, but,
I would assume as well. Or unless she just, like, throws coal at people that she stares at.
Yes.
My eyes of coal.
Is she really Frosty the Snowman?
She might be. She might be.
Just throwing everyone off with the name.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
Yep.
But that's it. That's all the books for the first half. Some weird ones. Some
Yeah.
odd ones out there this week. I'm not going to lie. We had some weird books this week, and normally that's right up our alley, but some of these were a little weird.
Yeah.
So, Brian, what do you have coming up for the second half of the show?
Gotham Academy, Doomed, and Secrets.
Well, those sound very normal. Like nothing weird could possibly happen in any of them.
Nope.
I have Batman and Robin, Eternal number 3, Dr. Fate number 5, Paging Dr. Fate, Martian Manhunter number 5 as well. Dude, that's all I gotta say is just dude. And last but not least, Green Lantern Lost Army, where we say farewell to a friend. So hold on a couple seconds. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we will go through those books. As are you and Kelly.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Or Mount Kilimanjaro, as I was calling her. I like that one. I like it a lot.
But I'm not very tall.
No.
Kind of short.
Yeah. And you also don't have an ice wall for one of your sides, so.
Are you sure?
Fair enough. We are going to jump right back into the books, though, with Batman and Robin Eternal number 3. It's like it's forever. But not. It's only number 3. So,
yeah.
Where we were dealing with all of the Robins. It's my book. I love this book. I love it a lot because it's all of the Robins hanging out with each other. Where we had left off last issue with Jason Todd holding Cassandra Cain at gunpoint because he thought she was an assassin sent to kill him.
Which she is. Well, I mean, maybe not to kill him, but she is an assassin.
Yeah, well, yes, but she was sent to deliver a message because that's who you send, the person that doesn't talk, to deliver messages.
Yeah.
And while she's looking at him and he's being all smug and Jason Todding up the room and being all like jokey, she has her little targeting reticle mini boxes show off all over him and then dismantles Jason Todd and tosses him around the bar, Noonan's Sleazy Pub, by the way, as we remember. He's about to take a cheap shot stab kill because I guess he went and bought a bunch of Taiwanese arm serrated knives as well.
I wasn't quite sure what that was, but it's pretty funny.
He's just like, I need more serrated knives attached to my body. And he's about to kill her when Grayson and Tim Drake and Spoiler and Harper show up. And they're like, no, don't kill her. She's on our side. She was actually here to warn you. We're all friends here. And they go, okay, well, let's get Harper Row back to the Batcave because she's kind of bleeding all over the place and we're just dragging her around Gotham City right now. So we should probably do something to patch her up. And they go on back and they're trying to get information out of Cassandra Cain, where each one of them takes their shot at doing it. Like Jason Todd's threatening her, like, I will kick your ass, little lady, if you don't give me the information. And that doesn't work. And then Grayson's like, hey, come on. We're all friends here. We all have bat motifs. Come on, just give us the information. And then Tim Drake goes, would you like some candy? I'll give you some candy if you give us the information.
Tim Drake,
come on, man.
Oh, jeez.
You be less creepy, please, around the teenage girls.
But even Cassandra Cain is just like shaking her head like, really? This is our last hope to save everyone, are these three idiots. And she stands up and just kind of taps each one of them. She touches Dick on the heart. Phew, phew. Touches Jason on the hand and Tim on the head, which I thought was actually a pretty cute scene as far as their roles in the Robin thing. Yeah. Where it's like Jason's the muscle. And
I don't know. Tim Drake was the brains of the operation. If he's the brains of the operation, we are all screwed.
But Grayson gets a call from Spiral. They're like, hey, you haven't checked in. And Helena Bertinelli's like, hey, what's going on here? We just had your operative go rogue, Dr. Ashmore. We're trying to find her. She used a magnet to pull off all of her nanobots off of her skin, because that's how it works.
Yeah.
And best part, though, as soon as that call comes in, Dick goes, I'm going to put you on speaker. And they're all like, hi, we're all Robins here. And Jason Todd is just going, I heard you're hot.
Yep.
So Dr. Ashmore is on the loose, and Bertinelli really wants this kind of nailed down. And she goes, well, one of the nanobots got into her phone and we got access to some of her records. And we found out who this mother is. She kind of builds designer people. She tears down people and rebuilds them as whatever the buyer wants them to be. And they're going, well, why would anyone need that service? What use would it be to anyone? And Jason Todd goes, well, it would probably come in handy if, say, someone needed 3 ridiculously rapidly trained child soldiers. Just kind of tossing that out there. And they all kind of look at each other and go, nah. And they go, okay, well, what else do we know? Well, the only other information we got was that she was going to make her next move over at this big gala ball that's being held in Bruce Wayne's honor at the Beacon Tower. And Dick Grayson goes, okay, well, I'm going to handle it. Tim Drake, you, I don't know, work the computer here and give me information because you're the brains. And Jason, you make sure all of these kids stay in line because already Cassandra Cain and Harper Row have wandered off into the Batcave somewhere and we don't even know where they went. So go find the kids and wrangle them up, because that's who you put on babysitting duty as Jason Todd.
Yeah.
First pick every time. And they're like, well, what are you going to do? He's like, I'm going to go finish this and find out what's going on. I have to bring in Ashmore to Spiral anyway. And that's when we pan over to Beacon Tower at the party, where Bruce Wayne is surrounded by the well-to-do and the posh of Gotham City. And each one of them is receiving a phone call, and all of them are like, yes, mother, yes, mother, yes, mother, I will take care of it. And as he's being led back into a private tasting in one of the side rooms with the most rich and affluent people of Gotham City, the door opens to see all of these rich
vaunted
people.
Celebrity chef Guy Fieri.
Whoa, I'm going to throw some more hot sauce on this. But no, he ends up going back in there, and we see all the rich people.
Cabo Wabo bacon bombs for the finest of Gotham's elite.
I'm sorry. You kind of derailed me a little bit on that one. But all of the rich people are holding hatchets, waiting to murder him. And it's like, uh-oh, you may be in trouble, Bruce Wayne. Of note, though, there are some familiar faces in the crowd that we'll probably see in the next issue that may also be being introduced into this book that I'm like, holy crap, they're just shoving everyone in here. Really fun, really good. Again, it's the interplay between these characters. Not even really much happened in this issue. Still infinitely enjoyable to me because it's all my pals hanging out and being friends with one another and snarky and fun. So I quite enjoy it. It's a good setup for a plot if they're going the direction I think they're going, where Batman's greatest sin was not that whole shooting thing in Cairo. Maybe he had some assistance in pre-programming these kid soldiers into helping them with their martial skills, and whoops, kind of took it a little too far. Uh-oh. So I'm looking forward to that, to see how that plays out. It's at least a good quote-unquote mystery that's off the beaten path and something they haven't done in the past. It's new, it's fresh, and I think it's a good thing for a weekly book.
Cool.
Plenty of characters to run with, and a good mystery to try to solve. So I recommend picking up this weekly. So far, we could have that mid-season slump again, like Eternal had for a
people who are
issues.
following along right now, it's like, oh my god, what are they talking about?
Yeah,
if only they know what's coming up.
You have no idea what's happening.
Speaking of mysteries, though, we're going over to Gotham Academy number 11.
Ruby, Ruby, Roo!
Yep. So it's a field trip into downtown Gotham City for a tennis tournament. And with the help of the not at all suspicious Professor Hugo Strange, the mystery team is able to stow away to look for clues about Olive's mother, Calamity, who everyone thought died, but now is causing havoc in Gotham City. So let's send some children out there.
Seems rational.
Yeah. So Colton and Pommeline, they sneak off to her mom's law office, which is LOL at Pommeline's mom being a lawyer. I mean, come on.
What, are you saying there isn't like a family resemblance there? Or Apple has not fallen too far from the tree?
Yeah. So they go to look up Sybil Silverlock's old case files, and Maps and Olive head off to City Hall to examine old paper files on her mom. So, of course, as they do this, Maps puts on a Robin mask, and they go sneak around town in plain sight and, like, wait for buses while Maps is in a Robin outfit.
Exactly what I would do in that situation.
Yep.
I actually keep a Robin mask in my pocket just in case. It's actually a handkerchief, but I guess I would be more cowboy or bandito or...
Well, I know when you saw The Lone Ranger, you took the never take off the mask tagline very seriously.
I did. It did cause some issues every time I went in the gas station, though.
Yes.
They did kind of call the cops on me multiple times.
Let alone the silence that drops whenever you walk into a saloon.
Actually, there was a lot of record scratching.
Oh, man.
It was just every time I walked in. Had to take it off, though. Had to take it off. I mean, after that blazing popularity of the Lone Ranger movie, I thought everyone would be on board with it.
Yeah.
And it turns out it did not do as well as many expected.
Yeah. Mention your constant hamburgling.
Robble, bitch.
Yep.
Robble.
So at City Hall, snooping at records, who else would be creeping around a place with a bunch of teenage girls but Red Robin Tim Drake?
Does he have a video camera?
I'm
just like, hey, what are you guys doing?
I'm sure he did. So Maps flips out and throws a batarang at him, and Tim Drake, smartest of the Robins, sees that it's an official Batman batarang, not some Chinese bootleg knockoff. So he immediately assumes she's part of the Bat team. It's like, there's just so many Robins right now, and Maps just trolls the hell out of him. He's like, but you're Robin. It's like, no, excuse me, I'm different. I'm Red Robin.
Duh.
Aren't all Robins red? Blink. I guess.
You're harshing my mellow here.
But then he expositions a flashback about how Batman and Dick Grayson Robin once captured Olive's mom and saw that she had a daughter and decided to try to do something to help her, since the Silverlock's entire family line is just filled with calamities.
Okay.
I guess the accidents, as well as the fact that they would work as the supervillain Calamity and just set fires all over the place.
Okay.
Yes.
Like on accident, or like they were
judging
hardcore villains?
Judging by how crazy they looked in their file photos, I would guess by choice.
Okay, fair enough.
So they basically, Batman and Robin wanted to try to break the streak with Olive. So the Calamity that's been wreaking havoc shows up and tries to bond with Olive, but she's like all old and gross looking. So for all we know, it might be like her grandma or something.
Okay.
Unless Calamity always looks like an old lady when she shows up as like a supervillain. I don't know.
It does ruin dinner whenever old ladies just come in and burn the house down.
Well, yes, yeah.
I mean, it slows it down.
Old ladies are usually better at cooking. You know,
well, yes, but burning the house down.
Yeah.
That's annoying at the very least.
Old ladies or David Byrne.
Or David Byrne. Or Guy Fieri.
Oh,
he shows up to cook dinner.
So,
God of barbecue sauce.
Peace, love, and chicken grease, everybody. Wah, wah. So, oh God, I don't even remember where I am. So Calamity shows up and tries to bond with Olive, but Tim Drake scares her off before she can get any answers, but she drops a puzzle key piece.
Ooh.
And when they meet up with Colton and Pommeline, their much less Tim Drake-filled adventure also netted them a puzzle key piece. And when they put together, it forms a key to Arkham Asylum, a great place where all children should hang out.
It really is. I mean, is that the next field trip for Gotham Academy? Where
yes.
They just go, we're just going to swing by Arkham Asylum where you guys can learn about your nightmares.
Yes. Who wants to be scared straight? We got Mr. Zaz here.
Hey, where's little Stevie? And Zaz, why are you bleeding on your arm? No reason?
No.
None whatsoever. See, my feng shui works as well. Mm-hmm. Is it still fun? Is it still cute? I didn't read this one yet.
It is fun. Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm looking forward to read it. It's usually one of my first go-tos, but being on call this week, I could only really read my books and Justice League, so I'm It's on deck.
It's maybe not as tight as like those first, couple arcs were, but I like it almost seems like, hey, I have a Batman character show up, and I at least had fun with that.
Sure. So it's doing all the groundwork so they can be introduced in the Bat titles and have them just pop in and not be an issue whatsoever. Yeah, they already had their first meeting over in Gotham Academy. You should be reading it. You should already know that.
Yeah.
They don't have to do all the introductions yet again. But my feng shui of comics, students, kids, Dr. Fate. He's going to med school. Well, he's like Dr. Fate. He's not quite Dr. Fate, or he's at least going to go to jail. Probably have Pommeline's mom call
Has he even been to Fate school yet?
No, he has not. He's still working on the first degree in doctoring. Fate afterwards. That's
I suppose you could be a doctor in just about anything. You don't have to necessarily be a medical doctor.
Doctor in Fate.
Yeah, he could get a doctorate in Fate.
How does one do that? What is the curriculum for Fate?
I don't know.
You just assume it's going to happen because it's Fate?
Get an honorary doctorate after you draw a bunch of onks on your notebooks, and you're good.
Okay, fair enough. Shit, I think I'm a doctor. If my high school, junior high years are sticking with me as well as I remember, I'm pretty sure I have a doctorate in Fate now.
Very good.
Yeah, awesome. But Dr. Fate, after meeting with his cat, a.k.a. the Egyptian god Bastet, he is told that he has to accept the responsibility of being the Doctor of Fate. You have to just accept it. No one else can do this job. You're the last in the bloodline of the pharaohs. Trust me, there's no more out there. You're it. Sorry, buddy. You better learn how to use these powers. So he goes out and tries. He goes, okay, well, I'll give it another shot, see if I can do this. And he ends up flying around, and there's all the flooding happening. But he finds all these looters that are robbing an electronics store and goes, okay, I'm going to use my Fate woodgy powers. And he just kind of makes the extension cord wrap around one guy and then floats the television up a little bit. And they're like, oh, man, it's another one of these weirdos. And they start shooting at him. He's like, uh-oh, I don't think I'm bulletproof. Whoop, 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 whoop. He kind of dances off and then comes back with a vengeance to strike them down. But really all he does is just kind of tie them up in random things. Returns home to find out that his father's hospital is on fire and goes, hero's work is never done, and flies on over there only to find Anubis not opening a grocery store. Not opening a grocery store. Trying to claim his father's life because he was robbed of it in his childhood. He tried to come and claim the blood of the pharaohs when his dad was a kid, and his grandfather used the spell of the pharaohs to drive him away, and his dad doesn't know it because he's so Western culture modernized. He doesn't really deal with all that stuff. He has no idea what these rabble words things are. So Bastet's come to kill him. Anubis has come to kill him, and Dr. Fate flies in and pulls him to safety. But as they're about to get away, Anubis turns on all of the innocent people in the hospital, and Dr. Fate goes, well, I guess I better do something about that, and turns back around to stop him. And as he does so, Anubis grows into a giant jackal monster and is just like, what are you going to do about it? And he goes, nothing. Can we strike a deal? And Anubis goes, yeah, I'll even give you your dad's sight back and restore his health if you give me the helmet of fate. And he goes, I guess that seems like a good enough deal, and hands over the helmet as Anubis goes, fooled you! It's the oldest trick in the book! And goes, I'm going to take your sight away and give it to your dad. And I never said I wouldn't take anything more away. So, mwaha, now you're a blind doctor of not fate because you don't have the helmet anymore. You're just a blind doctor, but who's not a doctor. You're just blind now, Kelly. You're just blind.
Man. Start getting into prophecies, buddy.
Maybe we could call him Oracle or something. Delphi? Is that taken? What do we have for people that give omens? What's left? Who could be a prophet of sort? No, that's taken too. All the names are taken. He can't do that. He better get his helmet back because no more prophesizing names are left that are cool. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, he doesn't have to have a cool name, I suppose, I
guess he could just be Khalid, guy who knows stuff.
Yeah.
We kind of got rid of all the mystic mumbo jumbo. I'm just guy who knows stuff.
Yep. Has he ever donated blood at any point in his life? Just like some random, housewife in New Jersey have actually the last of the blood of the pharaohs?
I've got some blood of pharaohs too. Yes. But he could be guy who knows stuff and team up with Guy Fieri, and then there they go. New book, new direction, all new. Next up.
All right.
More kids, more school.
Yeah, Doom. Well, I don't see much school, but Doomed number 5. I guess interning.
Yeah,
that happens.
way.
Yeah. So Riser, the teenage Doomsday, who doesn't really have any parents, has to have a talk about the birds and the bees with his neighbor Clark Kent about the changes that are happening to his body. You see, the bees carry the doomsday spores to the flower, which I guess in this case is you, which makes for a really awkward metaphor. How do birds play into this? Is that why you're always carrying an eagle on your arm? Oh my gosh, I never do that. People build one statue and they put an eagle on your arm and suddenly it's nothing but eagle shirts for Christmas. No, stop it.
I don't even like eagles. I was
This
always
is
more
really
of a hawk fan.
This is really confusing, Superman. Anyway, Riser doesn't take the news that he's turning into Doomsday well and sucker punches Clark and whoops away.
Well, that's an odd way of having that conversation.
I was going to say, was this the book that I left last time?
This is the one that, yes, where I was making poor jokes.
Yes, I think it was.
Boy jokes, and
Yeah.
I just had enough and walked out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Something about craisins. I don't know.
So elsewhere, Roman gets visited by the Alpha Centurion, the godlike entity from the past that inhabits his body to stop monsters from trying to destroy the world. There is a monster afoot and I must extinguish it. So Alpha Centurion takes over and flies off to go exterminate Riser. And they have a brawl, but Superman is all, kids, I need to talk to you about protection. Stop this right now. But Superman, listen, I found this VHS copy of Time Out, The Truth About HIV, AIDS, and You. It's got Magic Johnson and Arsenio Hall.
Ooh.
It's very informative. Now sit in these uncomfortable wooden chairs when a monster pops out of the ground to attack. And Alpha Centurion's just like, oh, that's the monster I was supposed to attack.
So is the monster the birds or the pollen?
Well, you see, it's funny enough, he's just like, oh, not this shrimpy monster, I'm supposed to fight this big one. And then on top of that, the like big monster put on its Letterman jacket and is all like, yeah, that's right, I'm going to steal your arch nemesis and then your girlfriend too, Riser. Bleh.
High school's just so tough.
So confusing. So hard being a teen in the DCU.
Again, I liked this book.
I know, it's a lot of fun. Like Alpha Centurion, I had to run with my stupid joke, but Alpha Centurion is an amazing character. It's like Thor taken to the nth degree.
Yeah. So hopefully at least the characters will survive. I know this book is not in the long run, but I'm hoping the characters still get some play down the line.
Maybe they can get inducted into Harvest's teenage army.
Maybe. But Bunker was in the same boat.
Yeah.
As far as a character I like, and he's at least surviving, not getting much play, but he's at least still alive, which, as a Teen Titan, that says a lot.
That does say a lot,
It does. Because they all seem to be killed off.
Yeah, so I mean, the hope is alive, much like Saint Walker, and hopefully we can get him to the other side. That's all I'm trying to get him to. So he can survive until he gets his big moment.
Yes.
His big moment in the sun. Next up, Martian Manhunter, number 5. Do you like biscuits? I like biscuits.
Love Mr.
Specifically,
Biscuits.
Mr. Biscuits. Where we have found out that Martian Manhunter, in an effort to evade the evil white Martians that have come to try to take over Earth, split himself into multiple facets of himself and disguised him, all of these different parts of himself as people on Earth. So now that Phobos, the moon of Mars, is coming to attack Earth. Just roll with me, people.
The entire
roll
moon.
with me.
Okay.
Daryl, Leo, Alicia, and Mr. Biscuits are flying out to meet with some of the other facets of Martian Manhunter's personality that are convening in Africa. And how do you get a giant 7-foot cricket monster through the airport? Brian, how would you do it?
Well, I know how you do it. You stuff him into 2 separate briefcases.
You do. You just chop him in half because he'll regenerate afterwards. Shove him in there with some cookies, and he'll do color commentary the entire time. And it's amazing as he is going through the X-ray machines and riding on the conveyor belts, and he's like, wee, and having so much fun. And then the awkward airport bathroom where they put himself back together. But between that and the psychic powers that also help a little bit, they are able to get through the airport security, and they're about to get on the plane when Mr. Biscuits turns to Alicia and goes, hey, you're kind of a normal. You're a kid. I should probably leave you behind. It's because I actually like you a lot, and I don't want to risk you. So here's a bag full of cookies and gold bullions. enjoy your life, little girl. And in Africa, where some of the other aspects of John Jones's personality are also coalescing, Pearl, the Middle Eastern robber baron that was going around stealing from the rich and giving to the poor, she was running away from the white Martians and ended up being saved off of a boat by Aquaman, who drags her to shore. And as he's giving her CPR to bring her back to life, she just lunges up and goes, "Ooh, hottie, giving me mouth to mouth," and starts making out with him. And Aquaman is all really skeeved out and awkward because he knows this is an aspect of Martian Manhunter. And he's like, I like you as a friend? It's a great scene because Pearl doesn't know she's an aspect of a Martian's personality, and she's just like, hunky dude, giving me mouth to mouth, save my life. Least I can do is make out with him on this sandy beach here.
You can pull a Michael Squints Palladoro.
But as that's going on, another aspect by the name of Mold shows up, who's like an old guy wearing his Robin mask and a blanket cape. And he's like, "Oh, no, you're supposed to come with me. We're actually part of an alien psyche. Ha ha ha." And Aquaman goes, "Do you need help, John?" It seems like I won't even call the Justice League. I just have to ask because this doesn't seem normal. And I know what it's like to be an outsider in two worlds, so I'm totally willing to sign on and help you out with this. And Mold just goes, no, don't worry about it. It's just a classic Martian mental breakdown. I've got this all handled. And they leave with Aquaman just kind of like, that's weird. I don't know how to feel about this. Does this mean that one of his aspects of his personality means he likes me romantically, or I'm just not going to think about it too much? And he kind of goes and swims away as Mold leads Pearl over to a giant chasm in the earth and goes, "Yes, this has been here for centuries because, as we know, only one planet can live in this solar system at once, and Mars gave its life so that Earth could live." And as they're having this conversation, Phobos comes into orbit above Earth and then focuses itself and shoots this beam down into the chasm. And Mold goes, "And it appears they want us to return the favor and kill Earth so that Mars can live again." Ooh. I really like this book.
It's a lot of fun.
When the supporting cast is just the main character,
Yes.
It's such a great idea, and it's so good, and you can see the aspects of Martian Manhunter's personality and give it the focus it needs, because that's the hardest part of introducing a character, is getting his mindset, who he is, how he operates, stuff like that. Well, now you get these hyper-focused singular characters that are these aspects of his personality, so you're introduced to all of them. Oh, he's kind of goofy and lanky and he likes cookies, but he's also very stoic and wise and thinks about things very hard. But at the same time, he loves people and likes to do things with them, and it's like, okay.
He's also a very good detective.
Yes, and then like Leo the creepy kid, and it's like, but he's very detached and removed and feels alien from all people, and it's like, all right, I kind of like what you're doing here. I really do. So you get this well-rounded picture of who he is.
And also I'm a sexy Lara Croft type character.
On occasion, he steals things. No, okay, but
when he was a teenager, he would rob museums all the time, as all
like
teenagers do.
But it's a really fun book. It's as I've said multiple times, not something I expected to be recommending, and yet here I am. It's fun. It's a fun read. So do it. Mr. Biscuit steals the show.
I know.
And you see him each issue getting more and more screen time, and I'm just like, yes.
I'm the dominant personality. All right. Moving on to Secret 6, number 7.
Keep it secret. Keep it safe.
Sure. So all of the magical entities in the DC universe, good and evil, are convening in Tibet at the House of Strangers to have a friendly meeting about how someone is stealing all of their powers.
Okay, are we just building houses now and calling them things?
Yeah.
Is it just like your status symbol for magic? I have my house of houses. Oh, I have a god of gods.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and so someone is stealing all of their powers bit by bit, and if it continues, they will be powerless to stop the fall of the White Gate and the unspeakable evils that are being held back by it. They must all work together, good and evil magical characters, to stop this nefarious, diabolical, 12-year-old girl named Black Alice, who's passed out in a hospital somewhere. Yeah, so she's the youngest member of the Secret Six. Big Shot Ralph Dibny is with her at her side after she was injured last issue. When suddenly Clarion, Felix Faust, Cheetah, and Black Orchid show up for visiting hours with flowers, balloons, and the intent to murder her.
Oh, well, that's nice.
Yes.
Apparently, they didn't go to doctor school either.
Yes.
None of you magicians went to doctor school.
Nope. But we got her a little beanie baby dragon that we're going to give her. It was in the gift shop, you know.
That was nice of them, at least.
So they're going to murder her. You know, they brought her gifts just to murder her.
Are they going to put the beanie baby over her face like a pillow, but it's very small and it doesn't quite work?
She's a kid, right? Kids are small.
Or they're going to...
I thought you were going to bring the pillow, Felix. I don't have pillows.
Or...
Do I look like a person who does a lot of sleeping?
Or is she under the age of 3 because it says you shouldn't give those to children under the age of 3 for choking hazards.
Sleep there, Black Alice.
They're so detached from you. They're so detached from humanity. They don't know how big kids are. So the rest of the Secret Six are also attacked as they're trying to bond through recreational sports, which means we get an amazing scene of Etrigan in his full Demon Knight's armor laying waste to a putt-putt course while trying to rhyme about it.
Yes!
It's fantastic.
That sounds up your alley.
Yes, it is. Very much so. So a magical showdown is happening, and as Big Shot gets beat up in the hospital, Black Alice comes to as like a crazy DC Universe magic character mashup entity.
Okay.
She's got like blue demon horns and like Etrigan knee pads.
So
and
she's composite magic user?
yeah. She's like those weird toys where it's like, kids like superheroes, but they also like putting Spider-Man's arm on Hulk's body. That's a thing kids like, right? Like, are you sure you understand kids? Maybe you don't understand kids. Okay, whatever.
What are you doing with that beanie baby?
Also, we like to make these skyscrapers that turn into robots.
Of course kids would love to play with that, but what does a building do? But I'm so happy to hear this book is just having fun with itself and doing weird things like that, because that was what the endearing part of the old version of this, the Gail Simone, well, I guess this one is too, but the OG Secret Six that she did a couple years back, like a decade or so, is a lot of fun just because it was having fun with itself and had these characters that were reviled and hated, and then they just kind of made them idiots when they hung out with them.
Bane just must be a dad.
You make sure you're home by 10, young lady.
Birdie shows up at a miniature golf course like, oh my god, all the sex jokes I can make. Where do I even begin?
So that's a market I think that should be finding its place. I think people like that. They like the old version of it. I haven't looked at the numbers for the new one, but Secret Six, everyone when I first started reading comics was like, yeah, you should read that. It's fun. As far as the last run she did, it was always very highly recommended to me, and I did read it, and now I'm happy we got it back, and it's getting back into that groove instead of the mystery stuff, which had its place too, to introduce the characters. It was a good introduction vehicle, but I kind of just like normal day in the life idiocy myself.
As someone who's pretty staunchly anti-Talon, Strix is becoming one of my favorite characters.
Yes. So we had some fun. Right? We've been enjoying, we've been laughing, we've been just having a good time with these books. But the fun has to end somewhere.
Oh.
Because we have to say farewell to a friend today as well. In Green Lantern Lost Army number 5. I don't know how to break this news to you, Brian. I just don't.
All right.
They had been captured by light pirates. Remember, they went back over to Relic's universe. All the Green Lanterns got cast over there except for Hal Jordan. And they were trying to fight their way back to our timeline, and they ended up being captured by light pirates that drained all the light from their rings. They're trying to figure out how to get out of there when Badge the Squirrel shows up and goes chirp, 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 because none of their rings have power, so they can't talk to one another. They don't speak each other's languages, and they figure out he's going to go up through the ducts and try to figure out a way out of this, and he actually is able to secure 4 operational rings and brings them back and goes chip, 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 and hems them off to everyone. And so leading the charge, Salak, John, Stewart, Badge, and Druk head on out there to smash their way through the light pirates and save everyone. And they disable all the prison cells and get everyone out there. Even all the other lightsmiths of this universe are fighting with them to help take down these light pirates. And Salak says, hey, get me to the control room. I could probably reverse all the charges, get everyone some charge back into their rings so we can all get out of here. But there's so many pirates in the way. There's just too many of them. And they're fighting their way through, and they just need time. Just enough time for Salak to reverse this charge. And Druck turns and goes, I will do it. And smashes his way and holds them off until a giant laser beam blasts through the chest of Druck. And he is felled. His last words, I wish I could have seen home one last time.
No! Druck, why? You start talking about Badge and I start getting all worried, then you say Druck, I'm like, oh no!
Yep.
He doesn't have an action figure for children.
He doesn't. He already lost his arm, too.
Oh.
He gave it up in sacrifice to the DC gods prior. And now he gave his life.
He lived as he died, sacrificing stuff.
Yep. I loved Druck, too.
Druck
he
was our
such
favorite.
a great character.
Oh.
And I should have known.
Yeah.
I should have known he was already built up to be the perfect expendable feel bad guy. But I'm still sad to see him go.
I figured he was going to die because you guys liked him.
Yeah, really.
There's that too.
He wasn't created in the 60s. He's screwed.
Yeah. Some of them have to survive. Who's a new Lantern? Bleeze has survived. Atrocitus, well, I mean, he had a brief moment of death there. So the other colored ones are fine. It's just the greens. If you're new and you're green, well,
Zox.
It's not easy being green.
I forgot. Zox isn't dead, yeah.
Vath and, what's his name? Isamon, or those two are still around.
Yeah, you can't even remember their names. You remember Druck's name, okay? That's the thing.
I'm just saying there's some that have made it in the last 10 years, just not very many, some. But I was sad. But he is able to hold them off long enough.
At least Box is still alive.
Box, you're our only hope right
I know.
They are able to hold him off long enough for the Salak to reverse the charge, and everyone's able to escape. The Lightsmiths as well as the Green Lanterns, and the Lightsmiths all kind of segregate off into their separate color cores and fly off into separate directions, and the Green Lanterns are rescued then by Krona and Relic, who fly back with their spaceship like, hey guys, we've come to rescue you, yay! And they all kind of fly off together. And as they're flying away, Relic goes, hey, while you guys were in prison there, I actually worked out my scanners, and I think I found a big Green Lantern signal. And they go, it's Mogo, we finally found him. And that's when the camera cuts over, where we see that the Light Pirates have giant drainers circling around him, draining him of all of his light as he's screaming, no! And the next episode, or next issue is named A Bad Mogo. I was like, yeah.
Yep.
He's a bad Mogo. Shut your mouth!
Only talking about a giant sentient planet.
Mogo! I'm looking forward to it. I like Mogo. He's up there. He's not as cool as St. Walker, but he's still up there. Someday, Brian. Someday you're going to see the light, and it's going to be blue.
I'm sure.
I'm telling you. And it's not going to be at a Kmart. It's not going to be at a Kmart. But that's it. That's all of our books. We had some fun times. We had some sad times. Some very sad times.
Rock.
Yeah. I'm going to miss him.
Yeah.
I'm going to miss him. But as a reminder, you guys go out there and buy these books. We said at the top of the show, we are at 500,000 downloads of this show. It's not massive. We're not an Invisibilia or anything like that, but it's of decent size, and we have yet to ask for anything from you guys other than to go out and support these books. So please do your part. Purchase what you like. Support it, because that's how the votes are made. And if you don't buy it, they don't make it. And stuff goes away. And I know we're coming into lean times. That end of November, beginning of December, where you got to make those decisions of Christmas gifts, buy myself some comics, Eat's in there too somewhere. I mean, it gets tough. I understand that. So don't buy yourself into oblivion. Just make sure you support what you like. Maybe buy something you like and give it as a gift to someone else. 2 birds, 1 stone, easily done.
And then after they're done reading it, then they can give it back to you.
Well, you can borrow it.
Or just pull a Hollywood Scott and order something, ship it to you, and then read it before you wrap it up.
Well played, Hollywood Scott. Well played. Hey, this has notes in the margins, and you're writing. No. No, those are notes from the writer.
Yes. It's annotated.
And all it is just Druck. No. But yeah, just make sure you go out and support the books. Do what you can. Next week we will have more books. I know we did a single week this week. It's I'm on call. We're heading into an odd week here, so we usually don't get very many listens during a holiday week, so I try to limit our exposure, shall we say, and then we'll do the big extravaganza in the week following when people are coming back. If you do want to contact us, Kelly, it's up to you to fill these people in. How do they do it?
Type DCR podcast into your search engine. And
What's your search engine of choice? What is it this time?
It's always Google.
Man, she doesn't understand.
I like Google Chrome.
She just doesn't understand the joke.
I know.
We've burned through a bunch of them, but there's still a handful out there that you could have gone
I know
with.
there's Bing and Alta Vista.
Done. We've done Web Crawler. We've done Ask Jeeves. Come on, there's tons of them out there.
I don't know. There's that one that shows up on top of my laptop that I have no idea what it is.
Just take Yahoo.
Oh, Yahoo, yeah.
Yeah, well, just type it into Yahoo. And then make sure you yell Yahoo as you do it. As you hit the little button, you go Yahoo! And that's how you get your best search results out of Yahoo. So, tip there. That's your IT tip of the day from Sean Lamont. Make sure you use it. But yeah, you can type in DCR Podcast and it will come to us. You can also email us at feedback@dcrpodcast.com. So do you guys have anything before we go other than have a lovely Thanksgiving to everyone?
Well, thank your creator still.
Yeah, definitely. Keep thanking them. Make sure you say, hey, kudos. Thank you for bringing me joy or enjoyment, or thank you for ruining my life by killing Druck. You know, whatever you want to send out.
Yeah. And don't use our name.
Don't use our name. Yeah. No, again, it's not a marketing thing. I don't want it to be and tag DCR podcast in so we know you did it. No, we don't want that. It's just between you and the creators. Have fun. Just make sure you let them know that you do appreciate their work. Give thanks to the creators for busting their asses, because they are busting their asses, and sometimes that work isn't appreciated. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. So make your voice heard.
Yes. And Jessica Jones is great.
2 eps in right now, 2.5.
They're just 3, but it's a foul-mouthed, R-rated, superhero-themed Veronica Mars, and I have no problems with that at all.
Okay. So yeah, just make sure your little kids are dead asleep before you start watching it, unless you're okay with that. But you know,
it seemed like it was okay for kids. There wasn't any cursing.
I felt uncomfortable watching it at points. So, you know, it's just like, okay, folding baby clothes. You know.
They mention Hulk and his friends. This is child-friendly.
Yes, exactly. They call him a big green guy. I mean, for the kids.
Yes.
Totally not.
Yeah, it's I'm reserving judgment until I get to the end, because Daredevil I thought was good in the beginning, and then their like 4th or 5th episode I was like, oh hey, where are you going? And then they pulled it together for me at the end. So I'm waiting until I get to the end to see how they do this. Definitely a nice style though, that noirish style of storytelling, very gumshoe PI. It fits the character. Mm-hmm. That's all I'll say. But that's it from us. So guys, enjoy your holiday. Gals, also enjoy your holiday. Have fun, eat some food, read some books, pass out because you ate too much food before you tried to read.
Ruin your books by falling asleep on them.
Get sick because then you try to read them on your way home from your family's house, and then reading in the car, just not as fun, and just be safe. That's what I'm trying to say. So from all of us here, have a great week. Enjoy your books, enjoy your week, enjoy your lives, and we will talk to you next week.
Scary Thanksgiving.